and all the bases. Get the most out, tied to the laces. Stop hating, stop being racist. Stop with the games, you can play for the vision. No kidding, can't still listen. If you never know, just stop with the dissing. One mission, all for the most high. Total when you fall, put your hands high. Represent this all day, every day. Do you see what's going on around the way? Hey, keep rushing every time. To the way you keep who's gonna learn. Never till somebody gets murdered. Didn't get a case, then get off the further. Ain't shit, don't fall for the anthem. You don't know they're not so fashion. One of the best, the most soft fast. We do Hebrews, we bless the taste of a New York. Then again, more compass with a fool. Ain't no school for you, you not cool. Time for the things you do is like this. Ain't for the essence, no nonsense. Don't let us stop the mix it, don't even up in again. More compass with a game. It's too many evil, too many people get more compass. It's all to
Don't you abandon your moral compass. You're putting your own soul in danger. Stop this. Just how much with that can you accomplish? Don't you abandon your moral compass. Don't you abandon your moral compass. Just putting your own soul in danger. Stop this. Just how much with that can you accomplish? Don't you abandon your moral compass.
Yeah. What up, everybody? It's your brother Yaakov 410 in the his ass once again. And that was a track that's one of my favorite, like one of my get pumped songs for real. I'm not featured on that one at all, but I just love to listen to it. This is my brother Marcel Negro Saki James and my brothers, my frequent collaborators, my loved ones, the Shadows for real. And any of y'all out there that know the works of prayer and know the Most High, ask y'all to just send one up real quick one time for my brothers, the Shadows, for real. What people always say on Facebook, don't ask no questions, just pray, for real. Just pray my brother's strength for real. Send them love, send them, all good things at this time for real. Much appreciated. I'm sending them too. Much love, bros. Shalom. And I wanted to come to y'all this week and have a little talk with y'all about making the most of your time. Something that if anybody's keeping up on things that's going on in the world, which I'm pretty sure just about all of us are, because it's affecting everybody. It's not something that, okay, that's them over there, that don't got nothing to do with me, or that's them over here, that don't got nothing to do with me. What's going on right now got to do with every one of us here. I seen the, I saw, excuse me, my mama would have a fit if she heard me say that, but I actually saw a video, and it was like a lady had an iguana on her shoulder, and the iguana had a mask on. So, everybody and everything is being affected. It's not even just people. Like, if you living in this earth right now, being affected by what's going on. So, that being said, this is just a little talk about, making the most of our time in these very uncertain and very different days that we living in right now. I'm going to start off with something from the book of Ecclesiastes. This is chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil." Let's get it from the Good News Translation. Y'all know how I like to do around here. Ain't no need to go through the whole spiel. If you've been watching, you already know. We get it from couple translations, or at least one other translation a lot of times, just to make sure we all on the same page and everybody understands what's being read. So let's go to the Good News. It says, "So be careful how you live. Don't live like ignorant people, but live like wise people. Make good use of every opportunity you have, because these are evil days." I don't think nobody will argue with that. Let's get it out of the contemporary English version. "Act like people with good sense, and not like fools. These are evil times, so make every minute count." So read that again. Act like people with good sense. And that sounds like my granny. Act like you got some sense now. And not like fools. These are evil times, so make every minute count. That's that on that. Now, that when I heard certain words in that, it kind of made me think of another chapter in verses. This is Colossians chapter 4, verses 5 and 6. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech always be seasoned with grace. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. And excuse me for 1 minute because I forgot I had the heater on, so I'm gonna pause this and cut the heater off so that it won't interfere with the sound. Okay, we back. Sorry about that. I just didn't want to compromise the sound. I wanted to make sure everybody was able to hear what was being read. So, the Good News Translation, matter of fact, let's get it again. This is Colossians chapter 4, verses 5 and 6. Walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. Good News Translation says, be wise in the way you act toward those who are not believers, making good use of every opportunity you have. Your speech should always be pleasant and interesting, and you should know how to give the right answer to everyone. Okay, I really dig the first one. Be wise in the way you act toward those who are not believers, making good use of every opportunity. Let's go to the God's Word translation, and hopefully it'll help me. I don't know, y'all might don't need it, but it'll help me understand the 6th verse a little better, even more so. It says, everything you say should be kind and well thought out, so that you know how to answer everyone. That hit home a little more for me. Everything you say should be kind and well thought out, so that you know how to answer everyone. And that brought me to Sirocco or Ecclesiasticus chapter 33, verse 4. And it says, prepare what to say, and so thou shalt be heard, and bind up instructions, and then make answer. Good News Translation puts it like this. Prepare what you are going to say, and people will listen to you. Use what you have learned before you start talking. So that's the instructions you bind up, what you already learned, the teachings you already have. Use them and make what you're saying make sense. Don't just open your mouth and say anything, for real. And that leads us to Ecclesiasticus chapter 5, verses 11 and 12. Be swift to hear, and let thy life be sincere, and with patience give answer. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Laying your hand upon your mouth. Sometimes we need to do that. Sometimes I even have to remind myself to do that, or at the situation I wish I would have done that. But it's better to do it before than after and wish you had. Good News Translation. I'm going to start at chapter 9, the Good News Translation, because it's just like a beautiful passage to me. It made music to my ears, for real. It says, be certain about what you believe and consistent in what you say. Don't try to please everyone or agree with everything people say. Now that's a gem right there. Don't try to please everyone or agree with everything people say. Be certain about what you believe and consistent in what you say. Like, don't be a flip-flopper. Nobody likes a flip-flopper. People might smile at you and giggle with you, but if you over here agreeing with this person or these people, and then you over here agreeing with this person or these people, it's kind of crazy when them people end up meeting up and talking, and then they see you on both sides, playing both sides of the fence. I see a lot of people doing that on social media. Like, one person to post something of one view, and a person be underneath of theirs talking about, yo, you so right, yo, you so right. And then somebody else will post a totally opposing view, and you see the same person in their comments talking about, yes. Like, what side are you on, for real? You know, like, where do you stand? You just a flip-flopper, and nobody really respects that, for real. Just if nobody ever told you, people probably talk about you behind your back. If you're doing that, cut it out. This is verse 11. Always, oh, wait a minute. The Greek adds, that is what double-tongued sinners do. And I know in the book of James it says the double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. So basically saying the same thing. This is verse 11. Always be ready to listen, but take your time in answering. Like book of James one more time says, be swift to hear, but slow to speak. Verse 12. Answer only if you know what to say. And if you don't know what to say, keep quiet. Shut up. Remember that on the Ready for the World? Oh, y'all might not be old as me. Y'all might not remember that. But before the song started, he said, shut up. And it always tickled me. But I digress. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that hath little business shall become wise. So even if you have little business, like that's a word to the people who may be, like laid off or furloughed or unemployed or whatever at this time. Like when you have little business, that's the quickest and easiest time that you can become wise. Like me personally, I asked the Most High to help me understand the Bible. And I used to go to church every Sunday and I used to read along with the little chapters and verses that the pastor used to give us to read. And sometimes I even used to get so into what I was reading that I would just, keep reading and not even get back into the sermon or follow along with the sermon, but didn't really understand what I was reading until there was a period of time, like in between 2008 2011, where I found myself unemployed. And during that time, that's when I became the closest to the Most High. Like when I started really reading and understanding, once I prayed for understanding, like I came into that period. And for those whole 3 years, like basically every day I was just steadily in the book, steadily reading, steadily gaining understanding. And that's what basically got me to the point where I am now. And I mean, not saying that I'm anywhere, because like we all can stand and learn. Like I feel like the day we stop learning is the day that the Most High called us home. So it's always something to learn, but I know a whole lot more now than I knew before that time. Through that opportunity of little business, I learned, gained the wisdom that I have up until this point. Now let's get that out of Good News Translation. It says scholarship and other occupations. Scholars must have time to study if they are going to be wise. This says they must be relieved of other responsibilities. How can a farmhand gain knowledge when his only ambition is to drive the oxen and make them work? When all he knows to talk about is livestock. He takes great pains to plow a straight furrow and to work far into the night to feed the animals. It is the same with an artist and a craftsman who work night and day, engraving precious stones and carefully working out new designs. They take great pains to produce a lifelike image and will work far into the night to finish the work. It is the same with a blacksmith and his anvil, planning what he will make from a piece of iron. The heat from the fire sears his skin as he sweats away in the forge. The clanging hammer deafens him, and he carefully watches the object he is working take shape. He makes great pains to complete his task and will work far into the night to bring it to perfection. It is the same with the potter, sitting at his wheel and turning it with his feet, always concentrating on his work, concerned with how many objects he can produce. He works the clay with his feet until he can shape it with his hands. Then he takes great pains to glaze it properly and will work far into the night to clean out the kiln. All of these people are skilled with their hands, and each of them are expert at his own craft. Without such people, there would be no cities, and no one would live or visit where these services were not available. These people are not sought out to serve on the public councils, and they never attain positions of great importance. They do not serve as judges, and they do not understand legal matters. They have no education and are not known for their wisdom. You never hear them quoting Proverbs, but the work they do holds this world together. When they do their work, it is the same as offering prayer. So it's like real serious work for real that they're doing. But at the same time, but it says another translation said when they pray, it is about their work. the main goal of that is saying that, like, if you don't have time just to set aside to focus on the things of the Most High, you will never become wise by the standards of the Bible, what the Bible considers to be wise, and what the Most High and what the people who truly follow the Most High consider to be wise, knowing His statutes and commandments. So basically, it's saying, going back to the original verse, the wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of leisure, and he that have little business shall become wise. So it's like all those other things are important. Like it just said, like the world wouldn't be the world without those people, but it's very important, if you love the Most High and you want His wisdom, that you take time out, set aside time to seek Him in that. And if some people are being without jobs or without a livelihood right now, it could possibly be the Most High letting you know that you're one of His people that He wants to Himself, and some time with you to Himself to learn His law, statutes, and commandments. So don't look at that as a bad thing. Look at that as an honor and as a blessing for real. And take that time to get into it for real. Because these are evil days. Make the most of that time. Don't sit around. Not saying that you should never play your video games or that you should never watch YouTube videos or, anything else, TikTok or whatever else that people love to do at these times, of things that bring smiles and fun. But always keep the main focus, the Most High, and the things that He wants you to know and things He wants us to do, because these are evil times. Make the most of that time. Let's get another verse. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 10, verse 5. In the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall He lay His honor. This Common English Bible says it like this: a people's success belongs to Yahuwah, and He will give glory to the legal expert, or He will glorify the scribe. So let's go to find out what exactly a scribe is. It says scribe, a group of Jewish leaders who flourished from the time of the exile until the destruction of the Jewish state by Titus in 70 AD. Originally their name, in Hebrew, Sopharim, or in English, writers, was used merely of clerks whose function was to copy royal and sacred manuscripts. What's the royal and sacred manuscripts? The laws of the Most High, statutes and commandments of the Most High, things of the Most High. So let's go to Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 and 2. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of Yahuwah, and in His law doth he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. Don't you want to be like that? Want to be like a tree planted by the rivers of water that bring forth fruit in due season, and your leaf won't wither, and whatever you do shall prosper. But in order to be that person, you got to walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, stay away from the iffy folks, and stay away from the bad folks, and spend your time instead in the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. And that is the point of this whole talk. What we should be doing with our time, making the most of our time. And by the way, going backtracking a little bit, the definition of the scribe I got from www.encyclopedia.com, if you wanted to look at it for yourself. Now let's go to a passage from the New Testament. This is 2 Peter 3 and 11. And we listen at the news and hear all the things that's going on, and hear something different every day. Like they say, 2020 just been one blow out of the other one, one crazy thing out of the other one. So hearing all that, seeing all that, keeping all that in mind, what should we be doing, right? It's Peter about to tell us. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be, in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hasting unto the coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Let's go to the Holman Standard Christian Bible to get this said a little more plainly. Since all these things are going to be destroyed in this way, it is clear what sort of people you should be in holy conduct. That's another word for conversation. Conversation can mean talking, but it's also conversation. If you look the word up, it also means your conduct, like your overall behavior. That's your conversation for real. So, like when people say you can speak volumes without even opening your mouth, that's the conversation that they talk about. That's how you speak without even opening your mouth. The way you conduct yourself. I saw a meme once that said you can teach a better lesson with your life than you can with your lips. That's the conversation. So, let me start again. Holman Standard Christian Bible. Since all these things are going to be destroyed in this way, it is clear what sort of people you should be in holy conduct and godliness, as you wait for and earnestly desire the coming of the day of the Most High. The heaven will be on fire and be dissolved because of it, and the elements will melt with the heat. But based on his promise, we wait for the new heavens and a new earth where righteousness will dwell. And now, to close it out, this is Ecclesiastes, not Ecclesiasticus, but Ecclesiastes, the book in the Old Testament that comes right after Proverbs. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Elohim, the Most High, and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Like, there's nothing that we can do. Like we was reading, like all them other things that we might do are important and make the world go around, but there's nothing more important for us to be doing than fearing the Most High and keeping his commandments. And like I said when we started this, we're going to end it off the whole same way. See then that ye walk circumspectly, carefully. That's what circumspectly means. Not as fools. Don't act a fool, but as wise. Be wise, y'all. Redeeming the time, making the most of every moment that we got left, because like the Messiah said, our time is any time. So we never know when's our last minute. It don't matter. We could be young, old, in between, healthy. The picture of health, as people say. You never know in these days. Never can be so certain. Never can be so sure. Making the most of every moment, because these are indeed evil days. So I advise everybody to stay prayed up and stay in that word of the Most High. Like my brother Newbury said in his live today, and in the one that he did, I think it was yesterday or the day before, he was like, man, there's no reason why, brothers and sisters, it's beautiful to watch videos, it's beautiful to listen to other brothers that have maybe, like more experience with the book than you might have, or I might have even, because it hit me. It's like certain people I just love to listen to, and if I listen to a sermon or teaching from certain people, I almost feel like I don't even need to crack the book open my own self. But I was actually listening to him. It was like a kind of much needed kick in the pants for real, because like I'm listening, I'm like, man, I'm a little tired today. I don't think I'm gonna do my reading. I'm gonna just find me somebody good to listen to that's gonna give me a good word, and I feel like I got some word for the day. And I turn his video on, and he's like, man, it's cool to listen to somebody, but you need to crack that word open for yourself. The Most High gave us that connection with him that we can open his word and get that understanding. And when he said it, I was like, dang, I'm coming to you to get some word, and you tell me that. So that let me know what I needed to do. And immediately I cracked open the word, and this is what came out, what I'm bringing to y'all right now. So open that book for yourself. Don't be lazy. Don't always leave it up to somebody. Like I said, it's definitely good to listen to other brothers that got word in them too, because it's like somebody might get something that somebody else missed. Like we all a body. The hand and the eye don't have the same function, so something that they might bring out might be something different. Might look at the same passage and both of y'all might get something different out of it. So it's good to be able to hear from others, but at the same time, we gotta do our part as well. Let's not be lazy. Let's not be weary and well doing, because in due season, we will reap the benefits if we faint not, if we don't get tired in this time, if we don't give up, if we don't jump ship and go over somewhere else and be a flip-flopper, But for real, at this point, I done brought out all the verses, and I'm just talking. Y'all probably don't want to hear me talk. Y'all want to hear that book talk. That's what I always want to bring to y'all. So think the book done talk. And thank y'all for checking me out. Much love to all of y'all. Peace and blessings, and may the Most High bless and keep each one of y'all and keep his hands on you. And as you do your best to do his will to the best of your abilities. I love y'all. Shalom.